Yo, what's good? Canelo wins by third round knockout in a very impressive performance, man. Canelo went forward like a pit bull the whole fight, which is what Sugar Ray Leonard and Sergio Moro were talking about. He was throwing to the body the whole time. That uppercut's really nasty. Typical Canelo fight. Body uppercut, and against the bigger fighter, it worked. Rocky Fielding, it looked like he didn't have a game plan. It really looked like he didn't belong in there. And this shows you that even regardless of weight class, when there's a big, big skill gap, that the more skilled guy, the better fighter, will win. And he might even destroy the bigger guy because he is just that much better of a fighter. And Canelo was just so much better than Rocky Fielding. I didn't know that Rocky was knocked out by Callum Smith in the first round. That kind of would have shaped the way I felt about this fight before it. Because before it, I was like, oh, maybe Rocky could give him some rounds. I really thought Canelo was gonna win regardless, but I didn't think he was gonna win in such a devastating fashion. But when I found out that Callum Smith knocked him out in the first round, then I thought he could probably get knocked out again. And against a beast like Canelo, who just rips people to the body, he it's gonna be it might be a short night, and it was. The first round, Canelo knocked him down with a body shot, and it looked like Rocky was just trying to find a way to quit. Second round, another body shot knocked him down, and then the third round, he got dropped with a right to the face, and then Rocky just looks to the corner like, and then he smiles, but he's looking to his corner like, are you guys gonna stop the fight? He was fighting very timid. I can't even do it. He was fighting very timid, very awkward. He's a big guy with a big size advantage against Canelo, and he was going to the inside trying to fight him, but he was much too slow, much too hesitant, and like I said, a very timid, a very shy performance. It's like he just came for a payday, and that's the fight that we got. Canelo dominated. He was very impressive, but the opponent that he fought wasn't at his level. Yes, he was a world champion. He got a WBA trinket, which Brian Kenny kept calling it, which I appreciate. Canelo now has a trinket at 168. So if he wants to stay at that weight, I think he could compete. I think he could compete with. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of the guys at 168, and I see some beasts. Uh, Gilberto Ramirez just fought. He's a very good fighter. Canelo could beat him. Jose Benavides, man, Uzcategui, George Groves. Those are all good fights, and I think Canelo could compete with them and possibly beat all of them. But all of them do have a very uh, significant size advantage, but so did Rocky. But they're way better fighters than Rocky. These are world class fighters, and even though Rocky, excuse me, and even though Rocky Fielding had a title, he's not a world class fighter, not in the slightest. But then I remember that Canelo is one of the best fighters pound for pound as well. So we have to keep that in mind when we want to trash Canelo for fighting bums when he's fighting world champions. That's just not true. Rocky Fielding wasn't a bum. He's just not in Canelo's level. Canelo is one of the best fighters in the world today, and you won't get arguments from me if you want to tell me that he's the best fighter in the world today. I don't care for pound list, so I won't even argue anything about that. I would say Lomachenko or Terence Crawford, but Canelo is definitely up there. I'd love to see Canelo, if he stays in that weight, maybe fight Lemieux in that weight. Lemieux didn't fight. He was supposed to fight in the card, but he didn't make weight, and then I heard he was in critical condition. Like he went to the hospital to get rehydrated. He was having a lot of trouble hydrating for this fight, so I would like to see him move. I would definitely like to see Lemieux move up to 168, especially if he's hurting himself trying to make 160. And I would love to see him fight Canelo at 168. Thing is, we're gonna see a lot more Canelo fights because of this new his new contract with this fight. At least we're gonna see at least 10 more Canelo fights in his career. I think we're gonna see a lot more. Hopefully, Canelo's a very exciting fighter in the ring, and he brings a lot of fans to boxing, so he's good for boxing. As for his middleweight titles, I would like to see him fight anyone at middleweight, man. Middleweight is stacked right now. Danny Jacobs was there. You got the Charlo twins. You got Jaime Munguia, which he's still a wild card. He's a young man, so a loss I don't think would even hurt his career. That's a good fight. But we're probably gonna get a third Triple G fight, which I don't mind. And I think Canelo has enough to knock him out the third fight. Canelo, what I could say about him is that he's in his absolute prime at this moment. This is the best Canelo we're going to have. So let's appreciate him for the time being. And let's give him some credit, guys. Let's just not try to trash all over him just because he's a popular fighter, just because he fought a guy that you really didn't know. He beat a world champion, he beat a WBA champion. Yeah, he wasn't on his level, but that's more because Canelo's that damn good. And yeah, it has a lot to do with how Rocky is and ah, how maybe he wasn't that good of a fighter, but Canelo is that damn good. So thanks everybody for watching. Peace. What do you guys think about this fight?